Ruger's Mini-14 didn't earn its name by accident. It became an American staple because it's reliable, easy to handle, and built with that classic ranch rifle DNA you just don't see anymore. For folks tired of the overbuilt, over-accessorized AR platforms, this rifle offers something refreshingly different. Simple, clean, and damn effective, whether you're ringing steel at the range or checking fences on your land. Now, here's the catch. Most people only scratch the surface with the Mini. They see the wood stock, feel the lightweight, and call it good. But there's more going on under the hood than most shooters realize. And if you don't understand its quirks, the Mini can give you real headaches in the field. That's where I come in. I'm walking you through everything you need to know to run a Mini-14 the right way. Let's get into it. First things first, if you're thinking about picking up a Mini-14, let's get something straight. This is not an AR platform, and it never will be. That's obvious to seasoned shooters, but for new folks just stepping into the game, it's worth pointing out. The internals are nothing alike. The Mini runs a gas piston system with a rotating bolt, more in line with the M1 Garand than anything you'd find in a direct impingement AR-15. And that's not just a technical footnote. It matters in the real world. The AR has decades of proven battlefield resilience, modularity, and durability. The Mini? Different beast entirely. It's a solid rifle, rugged enough for normal civilian use, but it's not built to soak up abuse like a duty-grade M4. Bill Ruger had dreams of it being a modernized M14. And while it delivers in a lot of areas, under hard field conditions or high round counts, the Mini starts to show its limits. But hey, not everyone's gearing up for the apocalypse. If you're not looking for a battle rifle, the Mini's still got a lot going for it, and we'll get to that. Now, before we move forward, here's a hard rule you can't afford to ignore. Only run factory magazines. I don't care what ProMag says, or what random brand claims mil-spec fit. Just don't do it. I've run nearly every aftermarket mag I could get my hands on. Across classic and current production Mini-14s and the Mini-32, and none of them match the reliability of Ruger's factory mags. Most of them jam, fail to feed, or worse. This isn't like the AR world where third-party mags often perform just as well, or better. The Mini's mag system is pickier than a match-grade bolt rifle, especially considering its military-inspired layout. Ruger mags aren't cheap, I get it. But if you actually want your Mini to run right, they're the only choice. That's just one of those non-negotiable quirks you sign up for when you buy into the Mini platform. Now, let's get to the part most people don't want to talk about. Accuracy, or more honestly, the lack of it. I'm not being dramatic when I say that early production Mini-14s were so loose, they made some backyard AK builds from the Khyber Pass look like bench rest rifles. I've shot a ton of the older Minis, and 3-minute of angle was actually good. I've seen plenty that barely kept shots inside a 6-inch group at 100 yards, and that's with solid ammo and optics. This isn't about shooter error. I tested loads, changed scopes, ran diagnostics, you name it. The rifles just weren't built for precision. And to be fair, Ruger never advertised them that way. These were ranch guns, plain and simple, built to pop a coyote or fox at 75 yards. If you could consistently hit something small out past 50, that was considered mission accomplished. Soft triggers, poor sights, floppy barrels, and loose tolerances meant you were never going to get tack driver performance out of the older Minis, no matter how much you wanted it. Now, let's flip the script with some good news. Ruger has seriously stepped up their game. Around the mid-2000s, they kicked off a full-blown redesign of the Mini-14. We're talking tighter tolerances, better castings, refined machining, and a revamped barrel profile. All of it added up to a rifle that finally started shooting like folks always hoped it would. On these newer models, if you feed it decent ammo and do your part, 2 to 3 minute of angle is the norm, not the exception. Now sure, that's not gonna wow the bench rest crowd chasing half-minute groups, but for home defense, predator control, or mid-sized game, That's more than enough. And with a little hand loading or some careful ammo testing, you might even tighten that group further. Want to spot the improved rifles? Just check the serial number. Anything starting with 580 or higher is part of the upgraded lineup. Skip the older ones. Get a modern build. You'll thank me later. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the trigger. Whether you've got an old model or a brand new one, the trigger has never been the Mini's strong suit. Some folks say it's the worst trigger on a modern semi-auto. I wouldn't go that far. Is it great? No. But is it junk? Not quite. Factory triggers typically break around 5 pounds. There's creep, there's some mush. And the reset is definitely on the long side, but it's about what you'd expect from a stock military-style AR-15 trigger. The real headache is what comes next. Upgrading it. See, unlike the AR world where you can drop in a Geissele or LaRue in under 5 minutes, the Mini's fire control group is a lot less plug-and-play. Sure, aftermarket kits exist, but most of them require polishing, fitting, or a gunsmith who actually knows what they're doing. That's why most Mini owners just send the whole rifle off to a pro. They'll rework the internals, install a match setup, or tweak the factory components, but none of that's quick, cheap, or painless. If you're used to the Lego-style upgrade path of an AR, you're probably going to find this part a bit frustrating. Last but not least, let's hit a design choice that's caused more than a few arguments: the safety. If you've ever run an M1 Garand, you'll recognize it instantly. It's a large paddle tucked inside the front of the trigger guard. Push it forward to fire, pull it back to safe. Sounds simple, but I've got a strong opinion here, and I know I'm not alone. Putting any control inside the trigger guard is asking for trouble. Full stop. Think about it. In a high-stress moment, you might need to disengage the safety without intending to shoot. That means jamming your finger into the guard and pushing forward, while trusting your trigger discipline under pressure. That's a terrible idea. Add in gloves, big hands, tight quarters, and suddenly it's way too easy to bump the trigger by accident. Re-engaging the safety is easier and can be done with either hand. But that doesn't solve the problem. Most experienced Mini users still use their trigger finger to check the safety out of habit, and that's risky. Even brushing the trigger on the way in could result in a discharge. This isn't something you can mod or fix. It's baked into the design. So if you're serious about running a Mini-14, you need to train that muscle memory. Safety off only when you're ready to shoot. Period. One of the most overlooked advantages of the Mini-14 is how it looks. And I mean that in a tactical sense. Even though it's a semi-auto rifle, firing an intermediate cartridge with performance comparable to most scary-looking black guns, the Mini doesn't scream tactical at all. Most of them ship with either a matte stainless barrel and a black synthetic stock, or that deep blue finish paired with warm walnut wood. Bottom line, it looks like Grandpa's old hunting rifle, not a modern military carbine, and whether you believe it or not, that can be a real asset. Now I know some folks roll their eyes at this, claiming optics don't matter, but they do, especially in certain parts of the country where the Second Amendment gets little respect. If you're trying to keep a low profile, or you're in a jurisdiction where assault weapon laws are based on looks rather than function, the Mini can fly under the radar. It blends in, doesn't raise eyebrows. It's neutral. It's familiar. And sometimes that calm, classic appearance gives you a legal edge, and a tactical one. In states where AR-15s are banned by name or configuration, the Mini-14 might still be perfectly legal. That's not just a cosmetic detail, that's a strategic advantage. So if you're dealing with restrictive gun laws, or just want to avoid attention, lean into the Mini's traditional styling. It works. Now, let's close this out with one Mini that deserves a closer look. The model 5895 Tactical. This is Ruger going full field ready. It comes with a steel side-folding stock that locks up tight and folds compact, a flash hider up front, and even a bayonet lug for good measure. Compared to the standard ranch model, This one leans harder into the duty side of the spectrum. With the stock folded, it's incredibly compact, perfect for stashing behind a truck seat, sliding into a pack, or tucking into a bug-out bag. And yes, you can run it with the stock folded, which is a major bonus in close quarters or vehicle defense. The flash hider helps tame muzzle flash in low light. The bayonet lug might seem old school, but in real emergencies, natural disasters, civil unrest, or grid-down events, it's not the worst thing to have, especially when gear needs to serve multiple roles. Compared to compact AR builds that still end up bulky or accessory-heavy, this variant is one of the most portable, capable setups in the Mini-14 lineup. Alright, that wraps it up. We've covered the Ruger Mini-14 from top to bottom. Its strengths, its weak spots, and all the little details most folks never even think about. Now, I want to hear from you. Is the Mini still a solid workhorse in today's world of modular ARs and high-speed gear? Or is it a throwback that's past its prime? Drop your take in the comments. Let's kick that discussion off. And hey, if you got something out of this breakdown, do me a favor. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single update here on Gun Fanatics. We've got more real-world gun talk, deep dives, and no BS reviews coming your way. Thanks for watching. Shoot straight. Stay safe. I'll catch you in the next one.